Hooray, hurrah, Batwoman's back. Hooray, hurrah, Batwoman's back. Yo, I'm just excited that um this show is back and it's getting its just due because this episode was litty. It was complete and honest. Awesome. Awesome. It was way better than what I expected it was going to be. And I love the intricacies that they're bringing into this. Plus, it being on what was it? A Wednesday night? Was that a Wednesday night that was on? Or was it a Thursday? It was a Wednesday, I think. Maybe it was a Thursday. I think it was a Wednesday. Instead, I didn't watch it till Thursday. Un- Instead of a Sunday, is a big flipping deal because I believe that Sunday time slot was a killer. Now I don't know if it's something was going to revert back to Sundays after football season, but man, that Sunday time slot was a killer for this show, and this should do a lot better. I don't know how it's going to affect my AEW watching along with Batwoman, but I feel like I should be able to be doing both. Um, I still haven't decided on whether I'm covering AEW full time or not, or if I'm still just doing pay-per-views. But we'll figure out as things progress and we see how interested you guys are in those reviews. But this episode of Batwoman, episode 1 of season 3, Mad as a Hatter, I was curiouser and curiouser on how they were going to handle these Batman villain gadgets. And even with now dubbed Batwing and Batwoman retrieving a lot of those gadgets and recovering Poison Ivy's ivy plant, it was interesting to see how easily some of these things can get into the hands. And it was an inventive way that they did it, get into the hands of somebody who doesn't need to have it. Now somebody found the Mad Hatter's hat, picked it up, looked at it, put it for sale online. A huge fan of Alice purchased it. Somebody who's psychotic in their own right purchased it, and later found out that the original Hatter designed it to, I think it was a neuroscientist, designed it to be able to control minds. So he's walking around with a hat on his head that lets him tell people what to do. Cool, cool. I don't recall the Mad Hatter in the comics. I wasn't a big fan of the Mad Hatter to start off with. So it's interesting to me that if that was his powers in the comics, like Jesus, or is this just something that they did? I'm not up on that character as one of Batman's foils. So if you guys could tell me in the comments, I could have probably looked it up, but hey, I just thought about it just now when it popped in my head. That's what we do with these reviews. We let our minds and what's going on in our heads just come forthright in order to tell you guys whether we like something or not, or just try to give you guys something when it comes on to what we're thinking about what's going on. Now, again, I said this episode was actually really good. It's a lot darker, it's a lot grittier than the previous seasons, and that helps, especially when you lost two big characters in Kate and Jacob Kane. Bringing in Renee Montoya, who I really feel like in this series at some time will become the Question. The Question is a crime fighting vigilante and detective, and I really feel like that's something that's going to happen. I was curious about this interpretation of Renee Montoya, and I was actually very satisfied with how they did her. Being put in desk duty, but still investigating what's going on with the Batman villains items. It's pretty cool, but let's get back into the Mad Hatter stuff. Jervis Tech, it was the Mad Hatter. He was a disgruntled neuroscientist that Batman eventually took down. Um, his hat ends up getting caught, you know what I'm saying? Well, being purchased and used by a young man who is just a fanboy of Alice and believes that Alice should be set free. and he's doing like a whole vlog campaign. He's recording everything he's doing, and he just wants to get out of prison. Um, he puts on the hat, he goes into public, and that's where he finds out that the mind controlling powers of the hat actually work. When he uses it to make a man kill his friend. That's when Miss Renee Montoya, who we just talked about previous, um, begins to investigate it. You know what I'm saying? Even though she's been put on desk duty, and she even goes to the mayor and asks the mayor about, you know what I'm saying, more funding to look for those villain items or Batman trophies that that have gone into the wild. So it's going to be interesting to see, especially with Sophie being out of the Crow, you know what I'm saying, element. If there's any if there's any serious interaction between Renee and Sophie as far as crime fighting goes. You know what I'm saying? So you get a cool opening scene with Ryan and Luke together, looking for the poison ivy sprig thingy. And it's an interesting conversation about what Luke's code name should be. And he goes on about being called a sidekick right before his suit malfunctions, right? Why his suit's malfunctioning, I don't know, but hey, his father made it. I don't see it malfunction. His father, come on, he made cool stuff. Maybe there's a reason for that happening, right? You get Mary visiting Alice in prison. Jacob sent her to check up on her, but like this is Alice's like biggest week. She's getting ready to graduate, you know what I'm saying, from medical school. The last thing she wants to do is go see Alice, but that's what Jacob wanted with him being in jail or prison in Metropolis. He can't do it, but Alice is kind of like, my dad to get me out. We've been riding each other, you know what I'm saying, and that kind of makes Mary feel some type of way that Jacob has been going out his way to make sure Alice is all right, but really hasn't been checking on her. So you could tell she feels kind of down that her family's not going to be there on one of the biggest days of her life, her graduating from med school. But Luke and Ryan promised to be there. And you know what I'm saying, as the family. I mean, nobody's going to be there. Jacob's in jail. Kate's gone. Her mom's dead. She's starting to feel alone, right? So later on, after everything happens, the Bat team starts to look into what's going on with this hat. They find out who created it. Um, they know that the person that has the hat is a Alice fanatic and will probably copycat not only the Mad Hatter but Alice as well. So Ryan goes visits Alice in prison, and Alice is like, "Hey, he's gonna throw a tea party, kind of like I did when I killed Catherine." So and also talks to her about her mom. You know what I'm saying? And the whole thing about Ryan's mom, I believe, is setting up uh what's going to happen in a big way when it comes to Jada Jet and Marquise Jet, because Jada Jet is a black woman who is the CEO of Jet Industries, a very powerful woman who gave up her firstborn child uh to, you know what I'm saying, I guess make sure that her daughter was gonna be okay. But Jada also has a son, Marquise Jet, uh, who is like a playboy type guy who has a very, very dark side because of an interaction he had with one of Batman's villains that left him like like thralling and loving being torturing and, you know what I'm saying, making just people's lives miserable. So in all, they're using Alice and what Alice knows to set up this whole thing that goes on with Ryan's life. Because if it comes out that Jada Jet is Ryan's mom, you know what I'm saying, Jada Jet is rich. Ryan's life could have been like totally different. But maybe it's because of how she got to the top of where she was at that time that she gave her up, that she didn't want her daughter involved in what was going on, right? So we get to what crap, I forgot where I was at. This is horrible. This is horrible. My notes are all over the place, guys, so I'm sorry. We get to Mary's graduation, which is get ready to give her a speech, and Mad Hatter ends up popping up, right? So what the Mad Hatter does is that he like confronts Mary at the graduation and mind controls her into giving like a pro Alice speech. and then gets Mary to like slowly kill, I think his name is Dr. Mall or Dr. Hall. That was the dude who was the head of the department who gave Alice's evaluation, you know what I'm saying, like her psychological evaluation. So the team kind of, which is weird to me. This is like the weirdest thing in the world. I don't understand how we got from point A to point B, but uh it's still made for interesting television. They decided the only way to get the Mad Hatter to stop is to break Alice out of jail. So while Luke suits up and he ends up using cell towers because they figured out that they had to do something with a frequency in order to be able to stop the Mad Hatter's ability to be able to control minds. So he uses the cell towers to orchestrate like a frequency antidote in order to stop the Mad Hatter's hat. And then like Batwoman is helping Alice realize that like she's been hallucinating all the mess she got from Jacob and that nobody's coming to save her. So when she realizes that, for some reason she agrees to help to stop the Mad Hatter, because maybe she thinks if she's helps stop the Mad Hatter, maybe her sentence will get lightened and they'll see that she's trying to do good. So Mad Hatter turns off the electricity just as Ryan shows up to save Luke, right? Because his suit's malfunctioning again. If there's no electricity, I think there's no cell towers, right? No cell signal, so he's able to use his hat again. Um, Sophie pops up and helps Mary like undo the mind control by using a defibrillator to help bring Dr. Hall back to life, right? And then Alice is the one who actually stops the Mad Hatter because she tells him, like, the vendetta you don't have is for me, it's against the doctors because they called you crazy. And then when he tries to use the mind control on Alice, she kills him, right? And then Ryan, Batwoman, has Alice taken back to Arkham. You get Mary in a very emotional, to me this is one of the best parts of the show. All the show was entertaining, but there's just something that was real personal about this part right here when Mary's actually performing her actual speech that she was going to do in front of Ryan, Luke, and Sophie, right? um that's when Ryan comes up with the superhuman name Batwing. Luke ends up discovering there's a Lucius AI inside his suit, and Kate makes Mary's day and sends her like an embroidered doctor's coat, you know what I'm saying, for graduating. Now, Ryan has brushed off a lot of the questions when it comes about her mom, her birth mother to Mary. Um that's an interesting thing because Ryan helps Sophie helps Ryan find the information that she needs about what's going on with Alice when she reveals what's going on to her. Sophie discovers that Ryan's birth certificate and her mom's death was like fake, and that her mom paid $2 million to cover up her birth. So Sophie found the documents, gives Ryan the documents that have her birth mother's name, and Ryan decides not to open it. So at that time, that's when Jada Jet arrives in Gotham, and Sophie decides to investigate her because Sophie knows what's going on. So it's going to be interesting and what goes on with that if to see how long they play it off to try to act like Ryan doesn't know what's going on, or maybe Sophie brings the truth. You know what I'm saying? So uh Renee ends up talking to Alice to come up with a list of the Batman villain trophies, and then they make a plan to work together to retrieve them. Renee also reveals that Alice told her that she's Batwoman, which she uses for leverage to agree with her, you know what I'm saying, to get her to agree with the plan. So Renee Montoya is going to be a big player in this season. We know Jada Jet is coming. I'm wondering where Mary's going from here because I'm wondering what she's going to have left to do. No family. Kate's gone. Do they use her to keep Jacob and Kate's name, you know what I'm saying, alive in the show? I'm curiouser and curiouser on what's going to happen with that. Even though Alice is in jail, I love the fact that they're keeping her a big part of this show because she's one of the best things that goes on with the show. Javicia is doing a great job as Ryan Wilder. She really she feels even more comfortable in the role now than she did before. So that's great. I'm still a little iffy on the Batwing costume, but I'm glad that Luke himself has more to do. And I'm just interested in how many more villains we're gonna pop up, or if it's gonna be like the villain of the week thing. So I'm kind of upset that the dude who was playing the Mad Hatter died, because I loved his performance in the show. But maybe if somebody like that with that type of skill was around for too long, it'll just become more of a nuisance, you know what I'm saying, than being a big villain. So I'm curious to see what more to come, because we do have the pictures of Killer Croc that were leaked. Well, I'm not gonna say leaked, they were presented for what's going on. And to be honest with you, actually looks very, very good. I'm very interested in if that's going to be a one-off thing, or if that's something that is going to be multiple different types of instances where they're interacting with Killer Croc himself. And I'm hoping that's more than just one episode, because with the detail in the character and what they put in him, as I'm loading this picture from Entertainment Weekly for you guys to check out, I just don't want that to be something that is just a one-off, because bruh, that looks amazing to me. I'm glad they didn't make him look like the movie Killer Croc, because I like the distinction from Suicide Squad to now. I like Batwoman living in its own world, as to par from, you know what I'm saying, the DC EU, the DC movie universe, or whatever they call it now. So I'm really curious to see, and I'm really geeked to see when this character pops up on screen. Excuse me. But until then, we know that next week we're probably going to have Ryan Wilder's first encounter with Jada Jet, and I'm all for that, and I'm geeked to see that. So until next time, as always, keep it A+. Make sure you follow us excuse me, on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, just like it says right up there at A+ Opinions. Subscribe to this YouTube page, man. And while you at it, go subscribe to A+ More Phenomenal. Catch all the Sentai and Power Ranger stuff that goes on that YouTube as well, man. We try to keep y'all all up on everything nerdy geek pop culture. This Saturday we got DC Fandom, so you guys make sure that you stay tuned in to what's going on daily, and just keep, if you follow the Facebook, if you follow the Instagram, if you follow the Twitter, we'll have all the news up there. We'll be posting the trailers, we'll be reviewing the trailers, and we're giving you our thoughts on everything that they show at DC Fandom. All right, guys, so make sure you tune into that. You can follow me everywhere at Nerd Mix Alpha. That's Twitter, Instagram, man, everywhere. Just follow me at Nerd Mix Alpha. You can search my music on all streaming platforms by putting in Indie Uchiha, and your boy will be back streaming soon. I'm jumping it off with Back for Blood Friday night. Friday night, possibly around 8:39 p.m. If you stay in tune with the social media, you know exactly when I go live with Back for Blood. But I'm going to let Adam tell you guys how y'all can join up with the Patreon, and I'll see you guys soon. Keep it A+. This has been a Nerd Mix. Indie out.
If you enjoy our content and want to be a part of helping our channel grow, become a patron supporter. We have affordable tiers to choose from that offer a variety of exclusive and early access content, from audio files for all of our shows for you to enjoy on the road, access to our Discord community, and plenty of reactions, reviews, character breakdowns, and more. Check us out at patreon.com/A+opinions. And as always, remember, like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so anytime we drop a brand new video, you will be notified.